Hello, everyone. Welcome to the March Madness fans discussion. The members of the SLS Patreon are going to talk about the March bracket and, discuss our picks versus what the actual teams are going to pick. And then we're going to, later down the line, we're probably just going to shit on what everybody else is picking. So
I look forward to people being mad at me.
Yeah.
Woohoo! It's the best.
We will be your hosts. I am Andrew Stallman.
I'm Brian McGill.
Introduce themselves.
Yeah, sorry.
You knew that was going to happen.
Eric Crispy.
I'm Lindsay.
All right.
Okay. So let's start. Saves the day will be our first one we go over. I don't know who had saves the day.
Yeah, just briefly, just discuss what we're doing. We're going to go by the regions of the bracket and discuss each of the bands on each of the regions. So, saves the day, I believe Lindsay is going to give her pick and her comments.
That was me. Okay. I put you on here. So we use like a Spotify playlist so we can share this all after we're done. I had two choices. One from Stay What You Are and one from Through Being Cool. I feel like Through Being Cool is a little more like, but Stay What You Are is so awesome. So my picks were Firefly off of Stay What You Are and Third Engine from Through Being Cool, because it's not one of the super popular ones, but it was the first Save the Day song I heard, and so it has this very special place in my heart. Plus it rocks.
And it's a banger.
Yeah.
It's a banger.
Sure.
So do either of you, or do any of you have some guidance so I could narrow this down?
Firefly was also my pick, so I think
you
did good.
Firefly would have also been my pick.
Yeah, I think that's the choice.
Awesome. Okay. No problem then. I think
consensus
that
choice.
Yeah.
The one thing I was going to say, so this is Jess's team, so Jess's pick, so I think a wild card would be she really likes Sound the Alarm. I don't think that she will pick something from that, but that could be a wild card choice.
She did mention Back Porch last night, too.
It's 2006, so it's right at the end. And that album has some bangers, too, but I kind of don't think she will go that way because it's not a popular
the ones are so
choice.
classic.
Yes.
I think that she is a Through Being Cool bitch, and that it'll be something off there. Probably.
She did go a little chalk and said that she might choose Back Porch, which was kind of like, wow, I didn't expect her to go Back Porch.
Oh, actually, you know what I guess her pick is? Because I almost picked this, but then I was like, I think that this will be Jess's pick. I think she's going to go Sell My Old Clothes, I'm Off to Heaven. B-side from the Vagrant comp, which is very classic. Jess to Brazil choices. And I only didn't pick it because I think she will pick it. And I wanted to be a little different.
All right, well, we'll see how that shakes out.
Awesome.
All right, let's move on to Thursday.
That'd be me. I think Lindsay's also in this discussion for Thursday. I love this band. Just one of the best post-hardcore bands of all time. What did I choose for Thursday? I don't think I put it on.
War All the Time.
Yeah, War All the Time. Which, I mean, I was going through the list, and literally, there's not a bad choice for Thursday. And I say that, and I mean that. City of Light Divided is my favorite album, and if I really was going to choose it, it would probably be Sugar and Sacrament, or The Limit Riders, I think is what it's called. I can't remember the exact title. I don't have the titles in front of me. But the Limit Riders is the one with the quiet guitar starts, and then in the middle song, just this huge swelling comes in, and it's so pretty and so fantastic. But I just don't think you can go with a song off that album. It really needs to be either Full Collapse or War All the Time. And War All the Time is maybe the best song between those two albums. I mean, Assassination's incredible.
I really only know Full Collapse. So Thursday was a very small time in my life. But I loved them, and I saw them live a couple times, but then it just sort of fell off. So I will trust your choice.
War All the Time, it's just a great song. And because it's a song about his experience with 9/11, there's a lot of meaning behind it too. So
I was actually wondering if it was a 9/11 song as I was listening to the playlist that we were creating.
Yeah, it came out. At least I maybe not 100%. I didn't do quite enough research on that, but it came out right after September 11th happened. Shadow of New York Skyline. I think he mentioned that. So, but yep, that's choice easy Thursday. War All the Time. Next Next one is I think we have Jets to Brazil, which I think is Lindsay again.
So I think Eric and I talked about this one. Jets to Brazil is hard because I sort of listened to Orange Rhyming Dictionary, but that was 1998. So I'm more familiar with that one, and it wasn't a band that was really on my radar. I love jazz, so I had to do a listen. So I was looking for something that, some of the Jets to Brazil catalog is really kind of slow and quiet, and I was also taking into account, what I would like to hear Dylan and SLS cover. So Milk and Apples, which is off of, I'll tell you the album in a sec, but it's starting to play, but it's off of Four Cornered Night, and it's like a little more rockin', and it was fun to go back and listen through these because I really haven't listened to them in a long time. So there you go. I hope I did justice.
If that's all we have, because yeah, it's a good song. I'm also would have been down for Crown of the Valley. That song is just incredible. But yeah, Movie Life, which I think is Eric.
Oh, hi. I don't fully remember which song I picked. So
you picked Monday and Raining.
Okay, yeah, Monday and Raining. I had a hard time going back and forth between something off of this album and something off of 40 Hour Train. And I, full disclosure, had picked for a long time. But I started listening to this just to make sure that I had my choice correct. And I instantly remembered how much I loved this song. So, one of the first songs that got me into this band where I was like, oh, these guys are more than just like a pop punk band. So,
thanks.
Next up again is Lindsay again, with a little man known as Kevin Devine.
Oh, all right. One of my favorites. March is my 20-year anniversary of first seeing him play with Miracle of '86 when I was a little baby. 17-year-old, was not actually old enough to stay for the late show, but we knew the promoter, so he let us stay. I have loved Kevin for a long time, and wanted something. And obviously he's got a massive catalog because he's been releasing albums forever. So I went with Buried by the Buzz, which is I wish I could I wish I could see the album on Spotify without clicking through, but it's on Split the Country, Split the Streets, which was released on Capitol Records. Very interesting in this weird time frame. These major labels were putting out albums for these really tiny bands, but then he got dropped along with everybody else when CDs kind of collapsed. Anyway, Buried by the Buzz totally rocks. Kevin has a lot of quieter stuff or acoustic, and this one is for sure more rockin'. And I think Dylan's a Kevin Devine fan, and I think he would like my choice, and I think Jess would too.
Okay. Next up is Crispy again with Head Automatica.
Oh, alright, so full disclosure, I don't know much about this band. I did not. We ranked this off of how familiar we are with the bands, and my ranking was not very high, but it was apparently higher than everybody else's.
I have no idea.
The highest.
So
They played at my alma mater. That's the only thing I know about them other than the hit song.
yeah, I would say that being said, I'm only really familiar with their hit songs, so I chose Beating Heart Baby because that's a really fun, dancey song.
Yeah.
I think that even though it probably is a chemo night song, that SOS would have a really fun time with that song. So
Cool.
Okay. I'm up next with Bayside, which is maybe one of the more problematic bands in this whole thing. I love this band. I think that the first album, I think they've gotten better, most specifically lyrically, as it gets older, because he realized he was an angry, problematic person. Just like toxic masculinity. It's all toxic masculinity. Threatening his ex-girlfriend with violence, stuff like that, in songs. So yeah. So a lot of these songs, it's hard to go through and be like, yeah, that's a song I would definitely put it. But like, especially on their first album, their second album was the one that I started listening to, which is self-titled, and I kind of felt like I had to do something with self-titled because it's, I think, the better of the two albums. I think their last album is probably their best album, but I won't blame it on bad luck because it's really just an album where he gets bad things happen and he gets really angry, or a song that's bad things happen gets really angry, and it just really starts with this really quiet. I like really quiet songs that get really loud and really energetic, and this does it really really well. But any Bayside song would work because they're all super catchy. Lyrically, they're problematic, but they're all super catchy, and he knows how to write a hook, and this is just a really fucking good song. Up next is Stray Light Run. I don't remember who had Stray Light.
That's Eric.
Oh, that was me? Okay. Hey. Alright, so I've got some feelings on Stray Light Run. I love them. They're one of the bands that I've probably seen the most play live. I chose my favorite song by that band called Mistakes We Knew We Were Making, because it is just a lovely song. It is a mellow song, but very emotional. And I don't know, really, I personally feel like Stray Light Run should have continued instead of John Nolan getting back with Taking Back Sunday. But
Well, he also started a solo project as well.
yeah,
Yeah.
and I saw John Nolan on that solo tour, like one of the solo tours he did.
Also, we want to mention that Transcendentalism on Prom Night would not have counted. It's an emo night classic that you hear literally every time you go on.
Oh
an emo.
yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, existentialism. Yeah.
Existential. I'm sorry. It's a philosophical problem. Next up is Midtown, which I was originally in the discussion for, but I'm really not confident in my knowledge of the first two albums, so I kind of let Andrew kind of run away with it.
Yep, I'm going to take the lead on this one. Sorry, Brian. I think this one, the really only big hit is Give It Up, so that one I kind of eliminated right away, which is a shame because that song rips.
Yeah.
That whole album, Forget What You Know, is probably not as popular with Midtown fans as their first two, but I think it's their best, personally.
Me too.
I think Save the World is too poppy. Living Well is probably strikes the right balance. So I was deciding between two songs, A Faulty Foundation on Living Well is the Best Revenge. That, I think, is probably going to be the choice. I just think that's... it's a good balance of what makes Midtown great, the great instrumentals, and it sounds good, and it's also, catchy song. My personal pick would have been Empty Like the Ocean, just because of the lyrics fucking are amazing, and
Yeah.
I would love to hear Dylan sing them, so...
I'd love to hear what they would do with that opening riff. That opening riff is so good.
So if I had to stamp down one pick for myself, I would pick Empty Like the Ocean.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Go with your heart.
Let's fucking go.
What did I
Let's
put?
fucking go.
Okay, I only have one for Armor for Sleep. Okay, Armor for Sleep is one of those bands that I secretly, because I was like trying not to be a pop punk kid when I was at this time, and I secretly just put the album like behind it, or what is the Dead album? I can't remember what it's called. God, I'm tired. Remember to feel what you feel when you're dead. It's the Dead album. About him being a ghost. And it's an incredible album. So many good songs. Not really a bad choice. My favorite song is Stay on the Ground. I played yesterday during our SLS trivia. Just a fantastic song. But the one I went with was Remember to Feel Real. It was on one of the Warped Tour comps. It was kind of a minor hit, but it's not like Understanding or Car Underwater, which is like their huge song. And it's still just ripped. It's just so many good riffs. The lyrics are awesome. Him singing is just super well done. So it's just a really, really good song, and it really represents the band really well. That for me is the song that I'm choosing. So and I genuinely think that whatever Dylan chooses is going to be well done. He did tell me it's off of Dead and not from their first album, which is really good. Their last album we don't talk about, but their first two albums are really good. And then obviously the second one just a classic, one of the best albums I've ever heard. So yep, the next one is a group discussion, and Coheed and Cambria.
And if you don't mind,
I was supposed to do some research on.
You don't have to. It's fine.
If you don't mind,
I can definitely go in on Coheed.
This one's hard because it's Team Snake is the one picking it, and I don't know what direction he's gonna go. But
No one can ever predict.
Yeah.
Well, and Welcome Home is technically an emo night staple because they play it every once in a while just to fuck with people. So can't even do their most popular song, which I love, but and I would think it'd be hilarious to see them try to cover it, but it doesn't qualify, so we can't even choose that.
Yeah, I mentioned on our chat that the problem with Coheed is that so many of their songs have killer parts in them, but the song as a whole is like.
I disagree.
Okay.
I do not agree with that.
No, absolutely not. That is a hot take.
I fucking love Coheed.
Every I noticed so well.
My choice was, so I only know Second Stage, Turbine Blade. All of these things were like I listened to like the first albums and then they just kind of fell off my music radar. But I loved the album and saw them tour on it a couple of times. I chose 33 because it was the shortest one. You are welcome, Dylan. And I thought it was like relatively sort of like doable, consistent like guitar sounds and also singing, like not too crazy, like high falsetto sort of stuff. So mostly length and then musical quality.
Yes. So with Coheed, like the shorter songs are the hits, right? I mean, Favor House Atlantic and that kind of thing.
Blood Red Summer.
I think Snake appreciates longer songs, and I also think Dylan appreciates longer songs. And I think if you're going with a Coheed song, you have to lean into it. You have to lean into their long, really
Have an 8-minute long song.
Yeah, and so that's why I picked the Crowing on whatever album that is. Fuck, somebody help me.
I've got to pull up. Hold on. In Keeping Secrets of Silent Earth.
Thank you. That song is like 5.5 minutes long, but it rips all the way through. That's a great song, and so that was my pick. Go ahead.
I didn't think we could do a super long song. They said they're not going to do it over summer because my choice would have been In Keeping of Secrets of Silent Earth 3. That song just rips from start, and if you've seen it live, just destroys it. I had the choice. I don't think that qualifies, which is a Favorite House Atlantic, as one of my two choices for that band. But the other one is 10 Speed. I just love that song. It's just a really good rock song. It's not really pop punk, but it's a really, really good rock song. And it just, the riffs and the lyrics, it's just so good at every aspect. So that was my choice. I also don't think The Suffering would have counted because that would have been another one I would have thought about because that was another one that they play every once on emo night. But 10 Speed would definitely be my choice, even though the real choice would have been In Keeping with Secrets. But that song's 8 minutes over long, so can't do that one.
I think 10 Speed is a good compromise pick.
Yeah. Eric?
Full disclosure, I didn't pick until a couple of moments ago, and then you guys all started talking about like time lengths and stuff. So, but I said fuck it, and I'm going all out. The Light in the Glass is hands down my favorite Coheed song.
That's a great song.
Hell yeah.
And yeah, it's like 9 minutes long, but fuck it. They're talking about covering I Would Do Anything for Love, so.
Yeah, I think you gotta lean into it.
Then I'm gonna go directly against that and go In Keeping of Secret Silent Earth 3.
Yeah, fuck it.
Let's do it.
It's not like these are getting picked anyway,
We're reducing the number of songs we have.
That's the one we're sticking with.
All right. We'll jump into the next band now. All right, early November.
I think this was me.
Yeah.
And this is another band that's really important to me. Love the Early November. I'm actually torn between two songs. I think this is the only band that I am torn between two songs on. In fact.
You didn't put in the playlist, so I don't know.
There's two on there.
Yeah, there's two on here.
There's two on there. The Mountain Range in My Living Room and The Shallow Rock.
Yep, The Shallow Rock and The Mountain Range. So A Shallow Rock is just a really, really good song. I feel like SLS could do a really awesome version of it. Mountain Range in My Living Room is kind of like my oddball pick. I think that is my overall favorite of the two, but it's definitely not any kind of like pop punky or anything really. Kind of like what we're talking about with Kobe. So that being said, after the Kobe discussion, I think I'm leaning more towards Mountain Range because it's a really good song.
Nice.
Awesome. Sounds good.
All right. Fountains of Wayne.
Oh, Fountains of Wayne was one that people ended up having a discussion on Discord because I said like, I don't know anything about this band.
Yeah, all of us said we don't know anything about this band.
Yeah.
I know Stacy's mom.
So, yeah.
That definitely wouldn't qualify.
Yeah, right.
I don't think it's an emo night staple, to be fair, but I don't think it qualifies.
Probably not. But
Yeah, but it doesn't qualify because it was a mainstream.
So I am pretty sure that Dylan Tech's brother, which I'm gonna pull up right
I think
now.
Duke was the guy we were going to ask about. What a message.
Let's see. Dylan's dad is the number 2 dad for you, which is pretty great. We were going. Oh no, they were talking about Boys Night Out. Maybe we didn't get a Fountains of Wayne pick.
Oh, yeah. No, Duke was the person.
Stacy's mom.
Let's. I'm gonna message Robbie right now.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he went to sleep at like 7.
Yeah.
I think they closed the Zoom at like 7:45.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was going to bed I was on there at 2. Just finally decided to go to bed, and then Dude, just like the Undertaker, just shows up, and it's like, oh god! And I was on there for another 30 minutes.
Oh my god. Y'all are insane.
Well, anyway, let's jump to MCR because I think we can spend a little bit of time talking about them.
I mean,
I hot taked it up yesterday when I said I couldn't name a My Chemical Romance song.
Oh yeah, I couldn't really either. They're definitely not a band I've ever listened to, but we sang karaoke from them last night, and there were a couple songs, and they were both really good.
Yeah.
So
I'm gonna go off on a limb and say my choice would be Cemetery Drive for them to cover. I think a cover of Cemetery Drive would be fascinating. You kind of have to stick to 3 Cheers. Anything off of Black Parade would be too popular for the most part, unless you like did Dead or Mama. Yeah, I think Cemetery Drive would just be fascinating. Honestly, anything off of 3 Cheers would be really, really well done. I love Hang 'Em High. I know I'm in the minority saying that's one of my favorite My Chemical Romance songs, but I love that song. But yeah, Fashion Statement, Thanks for the Venom, I don't care. Eric, you get to choose. Which My Chemical song?
Yeah, what you got?
Neither of the 2 that you put on there. Fashion Statement.
Wow.
I'm fine with Fashion Statement. Just said, yeah, Fashion Statement's fine.
Fashion Statement, I feel like is
so good.
The ultimate choice because it's not popular, but everybody knows it.
yeah, that song ripped. I've listened to it 2 times now. I listened to it once last night when I was high as balls, and then this morning whenever I was in the shower. So
No, I'm down with that. I just went Cemetery because of the cover, not because of actual.
The only reason I'm saying something off of 3 Cheers and not their first album is because I'm pretty sure something's going to be picked off of their first album.
Yeah. Also, 3 Cheers is I love the first album. 3 Cheers is a much better album.
I will say that, yes, but that first album was also equal.
Okay, let's see. Next one we have is TBS.
I'm updating the playlist live, so.
Yeah.
okay.
TBS, Taking Back Sunday. My choice is Cute without the E, because that counts. No, everybody else can choose.
Right. Let's go.
What do you got?
I agree with Eric's choice on Taking Back Sunday because you guys added two different choices to our playlist.
Well, I put Liar because I love that song and I think it's one of their better songs. And I think it's better than anything they did previously. But I just put that more as a joke because I knew it's not the choice. So we can go with Derek's choice.
Which is
Ghost Man on third.
That's a really good song, though.
Yeah, like, I feel like that's the right balance.
Yeah.
It has to be from Tell Your Friends, right?
And I almost really strived not to have it off of Tell All Your Friends, just because we already have a John Nolan appearance in Straight Line Run, and I didn't want it to compete with each other. And,
Well, we should go with Liar. I'm just kidding.
No.
I don't like Louder now, like at all.
I didn't. I think for me, it's gotten better as it's gotten older. But that's
how I feel about Where You Want to Be.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, same. I think that they got better. I think they as most bands do, they got better as they made more records. It's just we have a very specific way of thinking about a band, and that's so even if they're getting better, we may not think they're getting better. Now, there's very specific examples where that's not true, but this case, yeah. Timberwolves would also have been a great choice. But yeah, I like your choice. Next band up is
Starting line. Eric's favorite. Let's go.
Let's fucking go.
I'm gonna let Lindsay take this one, even though you called me out as it being my favorite because she picked the song and I did not have
the song,
an objection whatsoever. Because
I picked the song because I know that it's your favorite.
Yeah, that's the pick.
So yeah, the starting line was so fun. Christy, Jess, Kinja, and I watched most of those live streams together, and they were great. Like the sound was excellent, and I actually didn't know Based on a True Story well. I had heard this song before because it popped up on my car music every once in a while, but I was like, oh, this song is really great, and seeing it live on the live stream was really awesome. And you know, my personal favorite choices are off that first EP, which I just think are like the sound quality doesn't stand up to the test of time like Based on a True Story does. So I think that Eric's favorite song was an excellent pick.
Which is?
I'm sorry, surprise, off of Based on a True Story.
Alright, thank you.
I'm looking at it on the screen, but
yeah.
nobody else is.
Our listeners cannot hear that, or can't see that, so. Yeah, so do we think that the starting line has a chance to go all the way?
Ooh.
if it was best of you or best of me, I think so. But
I'm remaining cautiously optimistic, and I'm gonna be really happy if they just kind of sneak out an underdog win because they've kind of always been an underdog band, and I feel like if people actually go by like what we're kind of expecting them to do and actually listen to the songs before making a choice, that people, even if they don't like the starting line, will be like, oh, that song is actually really good.
Yeah, I think the winner, it's the highest probability is that the winner comes from this region. I mean, with My Chemical Romance, with the starting line, Taking Back Sunday, I think it's stacked.
Yeah, it's a stacked
region. In that early 2000s, New York, New Jersey region for sure.
Yep. All right. So, do we want to talk about Boys Night Out or skip it?
I like this band. They're very good. I've only listened to them once or twice, so I don't really have much of an opinion.
That's what they were talking about in that thread when I was looking at like what Dylan's brother had to say, and he and Bertie were talking about a song called Composing. I guess all their songs on this particular record end in ing, so they kept on getting confused with one another. But we can take a look at that later and maybe do a choice, but we didn't really
Composing, yeah.
Boys Night Out.
Yeah.
Next up.
Yeah, I would say I don't know anything about that band, but I am recently getting into them because of this, so I like them.
Yeah,
but
this
I feel like it's going to be a very controversial thing to skip over this band, so I just want to say I like them.
They're very, very good.
I don't know anything about them.
Yeah.
I feel like
no disrespect, they're just not in our wheelhouse.
Somebody's gonna make a third podcast to shit on us about not knowing about.
I'm fine with that.
Hell yeah, I'm down with that.
Well, I had to make choices of bands that I didn't know anything about except for I'd heard once or twice because we didn't want to have to reach out to so many people. So, Limbeck and the Forecast might make some people a little upset. But yeah, speaking of, we have a choice for Fountains of Wayne. Mexican Wine.
What is it called?
Mexican Wine. Great song. Best song from Fountains of Wayne that I've ever had suggested for me.
Okay.
So.
Got it.
They are. I mean, I've heard stuff other than Stacy's Mom. They're very good. It's just I don't know them very well. Up with the West Midwest Motion City Soundtrack. I'll take the lead on this one. I love this band. They're an album band for me. I know they're not for everybody, but I think that every album, especially I kind of aged with Justin. In a way, I mean, he's a little bit older than me, but a lot of the albums that he was writing really hit me at that time. Like My Dinosaur Life, I was going through a breakup and really dealing with mental health stuff, and for the first time in my life, and it was the same thing he was going through, and they're just it just kind of they kind of fit in my life. I really like I Am the Movie, but Commit This to Memory is maybe their best album, and I say that as somebody who is a Dinosaur Life stan and loves everything they've done. So I kind of felt like we had to go with Commit This to Memory. I did Time Turned Fragile for a couple reasons. Number one, it's one of their best songs. And number two, it's the one I think they're going to pick. So.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I have no complaints. Like my personal choice was also off that album. I would have picked Capital H. I think that's my favorite song.
I mean, the choice that I really wanted to pick was LG Fuad, but that is the emo night song. If there is an emo night song, that's not like cut cute without the E. So
sure.
Everybody, yeah. So, Get Up Kids is next.
All right. I'm reading in between because my kids are like wrestling downstairs.
No worries.
So I was vacillating about what to choose for this. I live close to home, so I was thinking about that. I also I love On a Wire and Guilt Show, which I feel like get not a lot of love for the Get Up Kids.
That is true.
But those are both really albums to me, and it felt like anytime I was listening to an individual song, I was like, oh, this isn't quite right. Oh, this isn't quite right. So, very classic. I'm a Loner Dottie, a Rebel.
That's a banger.
Mm-hmm.
It's a banger. I think it might be Jess's choice too.
Yeah.
But that's because I think it's like the right choice.
It is the right choice.
And
I agree.
So I stick behind my choice. That one I agonized over though. That was my when Jess was like, I can't decide what I want.
At the end of the day, you got to pick something that's gonna win, or that has the opportunity to win. And I think
that one is excellent.
Yep.
That's where I went.
Yep.
Okay, next up is All American Rejects. Eric, give him hell.
Oh boy. So All American Rejects are just a fun guilty pleasure band, really, for me.
No pleasures are guilty.
That's your kink.
I chose Too Far Gone because I thought that it would be a fun song to hear. I don't really have any particular attachment to that song. The band, though, definitely hit me at like a formative age.
Yes.
They're great.
Going back and listening to that, I think that's definitely the best song off that album that isn't like a hit. So.
Yeah.
That album is hard because there were like a couple of hits, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
if hits were allowed, it would be the last song as my choice.
Such a good song.
I love that song.
Yeah.
That album came out when I was doing tour press for a tiny little indie PR firm in Boston, and so I got to do tour press for that record, and it was really fun.
That's awesome.
Because it's really fun to promote bands that you really love. It's very it drags when it's not somebody you love. But I got to do All American Rejects, and I got to do Piebald when We Are the Only Friends came out. So love.
So we're gonna move a band that I've never heard. I've heard the name before, but I've never heard before in my life. Punchline.
Is that an Eric one?
Oh, was that mine? Okay, this is another kind of like a Head Automatica situation where I don't really know anything about this band. However, I never really listened to them, but I've seen them live more than a handful of times because they were always opening for bands that I saw. So they were kind of like a fun nostalgic thing to go back and be like, oh, I remember them. I chose the song Battle Scars because it's probably just their most popular song. However, it wouldn't ever be played at an emo night, as far as I know. So, because they're so small. Like, nobody knows them. So, I'm surprised they're even on the list. When I saw Punchline, I was like, oh, okay.
Was that a Snake choice?
I was going to say, is it one of those where, his band toured with them and they were nice to him?
I think that's probably what it was. Yeah, this got in, but Moaning didn't. That's the only one I'm going to reference. I love that band so much.
Moaning is so good.
Next up is the band that will probably have no one will have anything to say about, the Weakerthans.
Oh, come on.
Yeah.
I'm kidding. I love the Weakerthans. Love them so much.
Yeah, somebody put my name on this one, which was really cool to me because I believe I was the one who ultimately started the Weakerthans drama from the Discord.
No, that was Ethan. He
Yeah, well, it was a combination of me.
Yeah, I think he took it and run.
I think
started the hot take in that I had never listened to the Weakerthans
okay.
prior to a month or two ago, but
yeah, I'm willing to. I don't know. I really love. Living's really good. Reconstruction Site's my second favorite album. I'm really mad about this because Reunion Tour came out in 2007. And the song would be Tournament of Hearts. I know other songs are maybe better, but Tournament of Hearts is my favorite of their songs, partially because it's about curling, and just partially because it's just a great fucking song. But can't use it because Dylan arbitrarily chose the year that he graduated high school. If so, I'm a little mad at there's a lot of bands and albums like Lifetime had an album came out in 2007 that I'm just a little like, come on, dude. But so yeah, I went with a song off a Reconstruction site, and I went with One Great City. It's a great song. I almost did a plea from a cat named Virtue, but that song I just feel like is a little bit too much of a downer.
Yeah, that's kind of overdone too.
Yeah.
I put so I can't remember like who or why I made a pick for the week or then what was on our spreadsheet, but I picked a side from Left and Leaving.
It's a great song.
That song was like somebody made a mixtape for me, and it was on there, and it was so different from everything else that was on there that I was like, huh, what is this? Like, this guy has a weird voice, and like it's weird, but I love it, and it gets stuck in my head like a earworm. So Aside was my pick. I have to be honest though, I have not listened to Reconstruction Site, so I don't have any.
One Great, it's maybe the best song on their second. I mean, a lot of people say this is their best album. I don't agree. I think it's a reunion tour. My opinion. But yeah.
I think Aside is the pick just because it is like a pretty catchy song, and ultimately like for people who are listening to this and don't know a lot of these bands, part of the purpose of the tournament is to find new bands that you might like, and I think Aside is a good intro song for the weekend.
Right, I'll take it.
I'm very sad.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but I would have to agree, but only because I feel like this whole thing did start as like a pop punk.
Oh, that makes sense.
Bracket thing, and I kind of want to keep a little bit of pop punk.
That's fine. Yeah, this is. I mean, that's not.
There have been quite a few bands that have gone outside the realm of pop punk and just into era.
That's not a pop punk song. I'll give you that. It's not a pop punk song, so yeah, keep it aside. I will say though, I would still be screaming if we had the opportunity to do stuff on reunion tour. So.
Sounds good.
All right, the forecast.
Oh yay! This is mine. Forecast band I've seen live once and have like 2 or 3 Vagrant. I think it was Vagrant samplers. So that's why I got to choose them. And I listened to their stuff. Their stuff's really good. They're really, really good. They're like every song off. I was just trying to like go through and like figure out what song I was going to choose. And like if I didn't like a song, I was going to go forward and choose the next one. And I literally listened to every song off of every album. Both albums are bangers. There's so much good stuff. I went with Late Night Conversation. It's the title track off this album, Late Night Conversation. It's super, super really well done. The vocals come on together really well. It's really heavy and really fantastic. But I don't know. These Lights is great. And we all return to our roots is fantastic. And those are the 2 big hits. Those are the 2 that were played on Steven's Untitled Rock Show and a couple other places. So, I mean, I went with Late Night Conversation because it's probably my favorite song that I'd heard from them. But I also came into this not knowing a ton about the forecast. But yeah, that's the one I chose.
Nice.
Let's see what's next.
Hey Mercedes.
You.
So I will jump in on this one. I think all of us were kind of around the same level with them, so others can chime in if they would like. I was wavering between a couple. I think a lot of these will be really difficult to sing. Personally, just the vocal range is quite a bit different than Dylan's, so I think it will be a difficult choice no matter what we pick. But I think Every Night Fireworks is the popular album. That's a good album. I did not go with anything off that album. I went with It's Been a Blast from their first album. Loses Control, and that album's a banger. That song is a banger, and I think it's a good choice.
That's a great choice. Yeah. Let me give a shout out to Braid though. If you haven't heard Braid, listen to Braid. Braid's fucking awesome.
It's true.
After Hey Mercedes is the Academy Is.
Oh, I think that was me. This is a band that I really liked because an ex used to really like, and saw them a bunch, and just ended up really enjoying them. They're really nice guys. Met them a few times. William Beckett's the nicest person probably that I've met. One of the nicer people that I've met in the band and stuff. And he's a very tall guy. So I chose the song "Almost Here" because that song. I feel like anything that I liked a lot was either a really popular song or Almost Here. So, like, definitely emo night contenders for the rest of the songs that were on the album. I think it has the legs. I don't know.
Okay, cool. Next one is Bright Eyes.
Ooh, that was me. I just went with my heart. And I was a Bright Eyes, like I listened to Bright Eyes from Beavers and Mirrors into like Lifted and Digital Ash and Digital Urn, and then kind of fell off. But I think that in this range where, you know, in our years of picking this, is like really when I listened to Bright Eyes, and then I fell off on the newer stuff. So I love Beavers and Mirrors. It has this like haunted lo-fi sound, and my favorite has always been The Calendar Hung Itself. It has like such a good driving beat, and it's like really sad and dark, and I love it. So that's my choice.
Okay, and here comes another one we'll have no conversation about, Alkaline Trio.
Yeah, Alkaline Trio has been more controversial than I expected it to be on the Discord and on the Patreon, but this is the one of, you know, quote unquote my bands that I think has the best chance of winning this whole thing, in my opinion. You know, at least the bands that I'm rooting for the most in this tournament, and so you know, I had to kind of take it seriously, and Jess is picking this one, and I do trust her to pick something good. And the good thing about Alkaline Trio is that there are very few bad choices. So I think that their entire wheelhouse is open in this tournament. You know, most of their best albums are in this time range, and so there are only two choices that I would say are eliminated based on the emo night things: Mercy Me and Radio.
Yeah.
And
I Had Enough as well, but I don't think we were considering anything from Good Morning anyways.
What did you say?
Had Enough.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
No, I just don't think it was in consideration anyways, but that one got consistent
anyway,
radio
the
play.
good news about Alkaline Trio is that their popular songs are not good songs. So
I like Radio, but it's been covered to death, to be fair.
Yeah. So everything else is a good choice. I think that maybe I'll Catch Fire is probably their best album.
Oh, absolutely.
I think She Took 'Em to the Lake is my personal favorite Alkaline Trio song, and I think Jess and I have talked about that's one of hers as well, and I kind of think that'll be the pick. Or you know, maybe something off of their B-sides comp, their self-titled that came out in 2000. That's an option as well. I think Bleeder would be a very popular choice. I think that's a great song, but that's been covered a few times already by other bands, so that might be taken into consideration. There are so many good choices.
Absolutely.
There really are.
I told you my personal choice is 5-3-10-4. That song is so good, and just as like as a bullied kid in high school listening to that song, just
That's a good one.
My jam was From Here to Infirmary. That album was like one of the first records that I bought when I was in high school, and so I just listened to it over and over again, as one does when you're like 17 and feeling emo. So I think that I had picked Bloodied Up.
That's a good one.
Great song.
Yep. It's like, I will literally not disagree with anything anybody
I know.
says.
I know.
I do think She Took Him to Lake would probably be, of the choices we've done other than my own choice, I think that's probably the quote unquote compromise pick, unless anybody has a disagreement.
I did not pick anything for Alkaline Trio. It's because I felt like I was picking a lot of bands, so my voice would be definitely heard in this list.
Yeah.
So if I was to pick a song, though, it would have been "She Took Him to the Lake" or "You've Got So Far to Go." One of those.
That's a good one. I said that another one that I said has a good chance of winning. It's a popular song that's really good. Is "Time to Waste." Just want to shout out that one. So I think that would be a good choice as well.
They when they played the first song, they played prior to releasing it. The first song they played when I saw them live, I only seen them once, unfortunately, was "Time to Waste." This is before they did anything, and you're just sitting there waiting for like the heavy guitars, and then that lovely piano comes in. It was just like it just stopped everything. It was so good.
Spanish love songs would do a really good job with that song.
It would be awesome.
So that's why I do want to shout that one out.
Oh yeah.
No. All right.
Awesome.
Fall Out Boy.
Fall Out Boy is my choice. Fall Out Boy. I love Fall Out Boy. Fall Out Boy rules.
I sort of feel like My Chemical Romance about Fall Out Boy. Like, I know that I've heard some of their songs, but like I couldn't name a single one. Sorry.
I'm right there with you.
Seen Fall Out Boy quite a few times. I have followed most of their career up until they broke up. I haven't listened to anything after they got back together. Listened to the singles, I didn't enjoy it. But before that, almost every single album is all pretty good front to back. So I went with, off of Take This to Your Grave, The Patron Saints of Liars and Fakes.
That's a good song.
Because that song just gets you amped up. And I think it would be a really fun song to hear that's not necessarily out of the wheelhouse for them, but also not necessarily something you would expect to hear from them either. So.
Absolutely.
Okay, I'm up next with Gatsby's. I don't know if theater. By the way, Gatsby's a super underrated band. Volcano, like they did Gatsby's is a thing where they had really talented writers and musicians, but they could never put it together. But it got a little bit better and a little bit better as they went on, until Volcano is a very, 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 very nearly perfect album. And then the follow up was not as good. So I love this band. There's a band that was on a Warped Tour thing, and I just kind of got obsessed with when I heard it. I chose Theater. It's their most popular song. It's also a great intro song. It kind of gives the theme of the album, which is a little bit of vaudeville with a lot of like really good pop punk. A lot of good riffs. I keep saying that, but yeah, just super, super well organized and well thought out. But the issue with choosing a song that's not Theater is the album really flows well, so you're kind of missing part of them. Like I love the Giant's Drink, but without Fable, Giant's Drink is not great. I'm listening to Reason really flows well into the song after it. Those are my other two choices, but Theater would be my choice. Just great song. It's probably the most popular, but it's not popular enough that it's like an emo night song. So yeah. That's what I got for that. If y'all have anything to say, but I don't think anybody knows much about this band other than myself.
No, I never listened to them.
Yeah.
Like Boys Night Out, I really like them from what I've heard on this playlist. However, this playlist is my first introduction to that band.
Yeah. Next one is The Postal Service, which I think is Lindsay.
Oh, nice. Yes. Let's see. Huh. I don't see my choice on there. The hard part about the Postal Service is that my favorite song is actually listed as like a Dintel song, DNTEL. But the Postal Service like covered it when they did their live album. But it's the dream of this is the dream of Evan and Shan. My favorite, very excellent. I don't know why my choice isn't on here. Do you guys see it and I'm just missing it again?
I did not see a Postal Service on the list.
What did I end up picking? I can't remember. I think I was agonizing over could I put Dintel on there for Postal Service. Yeah, I'm gonna have to like come back to it. The hard part is I think that all of them are so popular that it was in any one that's like a little bit faster, right? All got super popular. And I don't know that that they want to be doing like this place is a prison, which is like a great title and good lyrics, but also like very slow. I'll come back around to it because I know that I thought about this choice for a long time and I made a decision, but then I didn't add it to the playlist. We'll come back around.
All right, so let's move on to MXPX, which is also you.
Oh, nice. Okay. MXPX, also an album that I bought early on, and so like listened to MXPX, this album, and then from Here to Infirmary by Alkaline Trio back and forth. Let me swipe to see because I don't remember song titles at all ever. Oh, Prove It to the World from the Ever Passing Moment. I know Jess loves this album. Excuse me. And Dylan already covered the first song on this album, I think it is. Yeah, My Life Story. So Prove It to the World, another one that's like, it's a reasonable length. They have some like really short songs and some longer songs, like a reasonable length. It's very catchy. And I still remember all the lyrics, and I would love to hear them sing it.
Nice.
Okay.
All right, the format.
Oh, it's still me. Oh man, yep. I love the format. Like I was one that was like, what? When they like maybe weren't going to be included. I got ahead of. I was like, the format is so good. I love Nate Ruess's voice. I think that Interventions and Lullabies is like, as an album, everything together, it's like it's perfect. And it's another one where it's hard to pick one song because it flows together so well. And a lot is more quiet, acoustic-y. Some of the lyrics don't hold up that well. Like I did the couple like ooh when I was re-listening to it. But Sore Thumb is a banger for the format, and yeah, it's an excellent song. I think it'll be, for people that don't know the format, I think it'll be a good introduction when they get to hear like it against another song. And yeah, I'm not sure who drafted the format, but I hope they make a similarly good choice. But Interventions and Lullabies and Dog Problems are both great, and yeah, it's gonna be fun.
That one.
See how they do.
Next one's Panic. Crispy.
Oh, hey. Panic is awesome. They're just so much fun. I've been having a lot of fun revisiting this band because of this. Because they definitely, kind of like what Mike and did, kind of turned into more of a meme band for me.
Yeah.
And both those bands have kind of surprised me.
Can you give me like 5 minutes?
Really good though. So my choice for Panic was Time to Dance, because I feel like they could have a lot of fun with their sets. And it's a banger of a song.
Yep. Cool. I think I'm next with The Used. Am I right? Yes, The Used. I mean, they're The Used. Everyone knows them. Their first album's really, really good. Very underrated in some ways because it became a super big album that kind of people made fun of. And their second album is actually underrated amongst Used fans because they just think it's just some sort of poppy kind of generic album. And the song's really well written. That being said, there was really only one choice. It's Box Full of Sharp Objects because that cover would be insane. It would just be the most fun cover. There's a lot of good songs I thought about choosing, including like Blue and Yellow, but Box Full of Sharp Objects, just that cover is the cover off The Used. So that's my choice. Easy. That's it.
Sounds good. All right. I think
we still got Lindsay.
Oh yeah. Is there one more?
Lindsay, gotta go. We have to hear your postal service choice.
Yes, my choice is Brand New Colony. Because I think that it is like it has a good enough beat. Like it's not one of the super slow droney ones. But like even just the title to me has like a little bit of like beachfront property vibes. So that's
nice.
Yep.
I like that link. Yeah.
Okay.
Good. So we're about an hour into this, and we're about halfway through. So we're on track with where I expected we'd be.
We're 45 minutes into this.
Good estimates.
But I think we can take a break and start a part 2, if that's okay.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Maybe like 10
Sounds
minutes.
great. Yeah. Let's do it.
All right. So let's disconnect and